I've been waiting to have this discussion for 7 years. Or 17 if you don't count the Metroid Prime 4 reveal. It's been that long, but we're here. We're on the other side, everybody. I am joined by Doughboy, Trav Guy, and Ray. Just Ray. And
Just
Ray
Ray.
Apollo. And we're going to be talking about this Metroid Prime 4 Beyond trailer because I need to just have a seat, relax, and just talk about what we saw. Like, first of all, general hype levels. I've seen your reactions, Trav and Doughboy, but Ray, you didn't post your reaction. Can you tell me why?
Yeah, because I'm a father now, and I'm busy.
So am I.
Well said.
Understandable. Genuine hype levels were just through the roof. I screamed so loud that I could hear it echo through the baby monitor on the other side of the house. So that's how hype I was.
Awesome.
Yeah, for me,
That's amazing.
it was like really early in the morning. Like by really early, I mean it's only like 7:45 when the thing was announced. But nobody, for some reason, nobody woke up. Like I don't understand how. That's just how good my office space is, I guess. But Trav, like I actually showed my wife your reaction, and she laughed her ass off. So tell me about this.
Love to hear it. So I didn't sleep that night, the night before. I was up late. I usually end up going to bed about 4 a.m. my time. And I realized, all right, I have the direct in like 2 hours, maybe 3 hours. Maybe I should just stay awake. And for a lot of it, I was just like zoning out. I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. Mario and Luigi, that's cute. And then I just lost my mind as soon. Like I woke up and I think I only slept like 2 hours afterwards. Like I did not get a full night's sleep. I just could not stop thinking about it.
Seriously, yeah, I did that once for the Switch reveal back in 2016, and I never did it again. But Doughboy, I saw your reaction. You were I feel like you were a little quiet during yours. You were like,
I was like shell shocked because I what you guys are describing, kind of like losing your mind, which is justified. I had that reaction for Dread and even kind of for Prime Remastered, especially the way that they presented Prime Remastered. It was like in the middle of the direct as if it was like a random game, and I was just like, what? Like, I really lost it. But I think I just like kind of and still don't believe it. Like not even just for the bit. Like I think the last, I mean, obviously not unique to me, but the last 7 years I've lived in a world where it effectively wasn't a real thing.
Yep.
I think like my body needs some time to process that it's real. Like I'm gonna wake up in 2 weeks and be like, oh my god, wait a second.
Yeah.
But like it's still like this like shell shocked state of like I need some time. I'm not ready for the game yet.
yeah, I'm like, here's the thing, right? Like I knew when I saw Galactic Federation text on that screen that it was real, but I also I hesitated. I was like, no. This is too good to be true. Don't do this to me. I didn't realize it until I saw Samus ship. I'm like, we're here. We're back.
Yeah.
We're so here. Did any of us even expect this game to be in this direct?
I did
Not
actually.
even- I mean, so
I felt
You felt it. You
in the
felt it in your
Force.
bones.
So I mean, it was one of those things where I was like, maybe it seems like it would be a good time for them to talk about it. Is kind of what my mindset was. But then I was like, I don't want to prepare myself for disappointment.
Right.
But little did I know.
Yes. But meanwhile,
Yeah,
Trav's
we
over
had
here
to go.
like, I knew it before any of you. Are you
So,
really Pyoro? Are you Pyoro?
Huh? I don't even know what that. Oh, PR. Oh, the leaker dude. Yeah, it's me actually.
That's exactly what the leaker dude would say. Wow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, not at all.
Huh?
No. It was just a educated guess. I'm like, all right, well, they restarted production like 5 years ago. That's
5, 6
about
years ago.
how long these games take to make. They're definitely gonna show it either by this year or next year. And then with the Switch 2 coming out, I'm like, okay, are they gonna hold off on it? Is this gonna be a launch title? Metroid feels like a weird launch title. I
Yeah.
don't think they would do that. No, yeah, it was really just like, all right, it's been like 5-6 years. That's about how long this takes. They're gonna show it this year.
Yeah, I feel like I thought that same thing, of course, minus the 4 years last year, and then it still didn't happen. So I was still just like,
Yeah.
okay, this is one of those things. It's like Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's just never gonna happen. So, but now it's just like we get a trailer before Beyond Good and Evil 2 does. I mean,
Got my big 3 that were never gonna happen. Now it's a big 2.
Yes, exactly. Oh, but man, so how are we feeling now that we're about like less than a week as of recording this removed from this trailer? Like, are we still just as hyped?
I'm still screaming.
You're still screaming, I can tell. Yeah, but I've heard some things online, some opinions from people that this trailer was not good.
Look at those.
Or it wasn't, like, there may be some things I feel might have been a little funky about it. Like, that transition into the logo was just kind of like, oh, here we go, here's a cut. But I'm just also like, context is everything here. Context is everything. If this was just a trailer that, like, maybe the third trailer for the game or something, then maybe I'd be like, okay, that could have been better. But no, this is the first time we're seeing gameplay of this game, knowing it exists for more than half a decade. Are we all in agreement here that this trailer is still a banger?
I love this trailer. Like, it's one of those things where I'm never going to judge a game based on a trailer because it's just a trailer.
Yeah.
It's just literally just to drum up excitement for the people who are going to be excited anyway, or potentially capture some folks who were on the fringes of being excited or just didn't know. So I mean, I thought it was a great trailer. Like I'm not really a trailer critic, mind you, so I just was like, this is Metroid. I've wanted this for what feels like my entire life, almost. But now we have it, and I'm like, just give me whatever form of it you're going to give it to me in, please.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I think for me, I didn't even process, like, was that a good trailer?
Right.
I guess we're all in such a niche category of, like, hyper Metroid fans where, like, all people might like Metroid, but they haven't necessarily played every single game. They don't know all the lore. So I think from a more casual perspective, it might just be like, I don't know exactly what I just watched. We all kind of know what we saw for, like, as much as we can. But to me, it feels more like a teaser trailer of basically just, here's a sprinkle. Yes, the game's real. Here's proof. And I'm guessing we'll probably have, like, another possibly even dedicated direct in 5 to 6 months, maybe this year, to be like, here's more about Prime 4.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's just like, sure, it was more of a tease because it was pretty short. The gameplay was only about, 90 seconds long, maybe? But also,
Something
it was
like that.
Full gameplay.
There was so much that happened in 90 seconds.
Yeah, I know, because I'm editing an analysis,
that it needed to
Ray.
be.
So much is happening.
So much is happening.
So much is happening. But Trav, you are a trailer editor. I want your educated opinions.
Yes. So I thought that this was a very bold move because this trailer could have been made by someone being like, all right, we gotta get something to show. Some dude played through the opening mission of the game. I'm guessing it's going to be like in the opening of Prime 3 when you have that, like, sort of linear assault on that planet where you fight Meta Ridley. Mm-hmm. I'm guessing it's going to be a mission like that. Someone just played through it, and, like, you see, just, like, legit cross fades, like, just fades into the next scene. It is not very edited at all. But I think, like, it didn't need to be, especially if they're just showing off gameplay and being like, hey, look, the game is real. Here's 90 seconds of cut down footage. I think that when you have the weight, especially of people on social media going, hey, where's Prime 4? And a bunch of people who probably didn't even care about Metroid 3 years ago even going like, yeah, where is Prime 4? Like, I think that they saved themselves a lot of time. They probably didn't even need to make a highly edited trailer. We will probably see one later on, like a story trailer, because we've gotten those for games, like the last trailer for Breath of the Wild, where they intersplice dialogue, cutscenes, all that. But yeah, for this, just a reveal trailer at this point. It was everything it needed to be.
Yep.
It was smart.
And they showed Sylux. Just like, yes, remember that?
I screamed.
Yeah, remember that cliffhanger from how many, 17 years ago? Yep.
I beat Federation Force. I saw that credit scene.
Yes,
Same.
that
Yeah.
too.
It was one of those things where it was like, first of all, we're getting old. Second of all, I was like, there is no way they took this, what I thought was a completely obscure character that kind of got sprinkled in here and there, and now they're going to be a major antagonist. What? Or are they?
Yeah.
I actually don't know. That's a good question. So, like,
That's
they could have
true.
just been like,
What if they die
showed
in the
one
opening?
of them. Yeah, exactly.
With a golf club.
Moments after
Oh,
that
no.
scene, they get shot in the head, and the entire story changes. Yeah.
Yep.
Shoots him in the head is Adam himself. Adam Malcolm.
Oh my god.
There's the pivot, and Adam is
Look.
the new villain.
I have so many just random theories about just Because I'm like, they pulled all of the actual Sylux lore they had, and they're like, we're gonna use it because it's like maybe 2 minutes worth and make something new. But I'm like, they got a whole other game they could actually pull from Samus. Because I mean, they have to tell Samus' story too. So I'm like, what version of it are they telling? And I'm like, I mean, we could talk a little bit more about other M stuff, you know what I'm saying? We could.
Yeah, there's the thing though about like even just the outside Metroid trilogy, like beyond, not trilogy but series, the non-Prime games. They're like, the Prime games like never reference the other games. Like the most that's happened is in Metroid Prime. They mention like the stuff that happened in the first Metroid game, which makes sense.
I was just gonna say
but then everything after that is just like those two are practically separate timelines.
Well, because
they're not.
That's when it takes place. Like, there's no reason for them to reference the events. It all takes place in between Metroid 1 and 2.
Yeah, there's nothing to reference yet.
Which I think is interesting. I want to throw this thought out there before you go back to your scripted sequence, Joey. I'm just guessing. So, all right, here's my thought. I had this feeling with Metroid Prime 3. Metroid Prime 2, Prime takes place right before it. There's got to be some reason that the Federation is like, all right, Samus, you got to go kill all these mother heckers. I don't know if I can swear.
Don't swear.
Sorry.
We'll use the
Mother Hunters.
All right, I'm gonna redo that. Samus, you got to go kill all these little dudes. There's some traumatic event in the galaxy that makes the Federation go, we got to wipe the Metroids out. I thought that was the end of Prime 3. We see, hey, Phazon really corrupts these things. It literally birthed another Samus. We can't handle two of them. And then, like, all right, we're doing more stuff. Maybe Sylux, he has his own cloned Metroids. He's going to do something so scary with them that makes the Federation go, Samus, you got to go. You got to do this. You got to take them out.
Can I say the thing?
Yes, say the thing.
Can I say the thing?
Say the thing.
I mean, we looked at the Metroids. Those aren't regular Metroids.
Okay, here's the thing. I know
they're mock droids or their own thing.
They're either mock droids or here's what I'm afraid of, right? Here's what I'm afraid of. Like, we all think they're mock droids, right? Like, because they got one nucleus in there. Ain't no way these are Metroids. It would kind of make me a little mad if they just said, no, these are Metroids. These are just like a new design. I'm just kind of like,
So I'm like, what I need them to tell me and to confirm is that they were freaking out because they used Samus's DNA to make these new Metroids. That's what I need them to do.
My goodness. Let's also talk about the year 20X9. What's going on there? Here's the thing.
I did a deep dive.
Yes, you did a deep dive.
I'll let you say your piece. I'm going
to say my piece because this annoys the heck out of me when I was looking into this. What is the cosmic calendar? Oh, Doughboy, by the way, makes a great Metroid timeline that I use all the time in my videos. Like, go check that out on Twitter. But anyway, they say it's
check that out right now.
Yeah, they say 20X9 at the beginning of this thing, and there's still no consistency in the years at all. The only thing that is consistent is that Metroid 1 is set in 20X5. Everything after that, just complete nonsense. Like, if you go to the Wikitroid year 20X5, and then all it is a list of everything that conflicts with everything. And I'm just like, what? I really hope that there's one thing this game does. If they even say it is 20X9 in the game. I don't know if they just did that for the trailer or if they actually put it in the game. I hope they just give us something definitive, please.
Yeah.
Because either this game is set. You go on, Trav. You know better than I do.
All right, so here's the thing about the Cosmic Calendar. I looked this up after my video that I did on it. I looked at it. The first game to use the Cosmic Calendar was Federation Force. Outside of the material that said, like, Metroid 1 happened 20X5. That's unrelated. But the first game since then to use it was Federation Force, but only on the UK website do they mention the year. And so it's like, okay, well, how canon is that? You know, I'm sure that maybe, like, someone behind the scenes is like, all right, well, this is when it takes place, but let's omit that from the games just because, you know, we don't want to set a specific timeline for this. And so, like, everyone's saying Super Metroid takes place in 20X7. That was only in a Japanese commercial, like just a one-time, like, here's in the far-off year of 20XD9. So, like, I feel like the only definitive answer we have is that Metroid 1 takes place in 20X5, and then that's it.
Yeah,
like,
pretty much, right?
We don't know where to go from there.
Because also, just the fact that Federation Force said 20X6, The game itself like started out saying set in the year 20X6, but
is that the case? Yeah,
but the UK website said, yeah, it's the year 20X6, several years after Prime 3, which is not true in the slightest, because Prime
and the manual. Yeah. The art book for the Metroid Prime trilogy says that Metroid Prime 1 takes place 3 years after Metroid 1. So which is it?
I don't get
it. It doesn't make sense.
And that intern was Doug Bowser.
Doughboy, what are your thoughts on this? Because you made the timeline. You made the official timeline. Not really, but you did.
Yes. the official timeline, yeah. Well, I think, and this is a good forum to ask this question to, as someone who has, because I made that timeline originally when Dread came out.
Yes.
Because I saw so many people confused with Metroid 5. Wait, what happened to Metroid 4? Because they got mixed up with the Metroid Prime 4 thing. It's like, if you're not a huge fan, it's an easy little mistake to make. So I was like, all right, this is a problem. How can I solve it? We need a clear timeline that people can look at in one frame. So I cooked that up mostly just to like answer that question. And I put Prime 4 on there as a speculated, it's after Federation Force, but like technically it could be after anything else. Anything past that in theory. And it still could be. We don't actually know 100% in any way. But yeah, I never really paid any attention to the year that the game tells us that it's in,
right?
Because it's so rare that it does that in the first place. It's always been based on like, okay, well, what are they talking about in the game that has already happened? Like Metroid Prime, we can deduce that it happens after Metroid 1 because it talks about the events of Metroid 1. Metroid Prime 2, we can deduce that it happens after Metroid Prime 1 for all these different, story-based reasons. So it's always been based on like what's happening in the game that determines its point in the timeline, not here's the year, by the way.
Yeah.
So this is almost the first time, I think, in like, I guess the Metroid community's history probably, that we're not sure where a game goes because of a year being thrown in as like a variable that we're not sure what to do with.
Yeah.
For me, I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to piss anyone off. It's just, to me, it leans towards it's after Federation Force, like directly after Federation Force, and not before Super Metroid or anything else, because of the ship design.
Yes.
It is, I think, exactly the same ship as Metroid Prime 3. Maybe it's,
it's gotta be.
Looks a little bit better.
I feel like that is a very healthy and safe deduction to make.
Yeah, right.
Like the only thing
look at it, she comes out of the top of the ship, not underneath.
Right, but you still see the latch underneath, the hatch underneath too, and the turret placement's exactly the same.
Yeah, it's got to be the same ship, and so to me that's a stronger reason than 20X9 to put it where it is in the timeline. But we all could be wrong about that. Like they could say it's after Dread for all we know. But I'm not saying it seems like that. I'm just saying
they want.
we actually
They
can't confirm anything right now. But my if I had to put money on it, it would be it takes place right after Federation Force, whether that's a month, a few years, whatever. But it doesn't take place after Super Metroid.
Yeah,
my personal perspective.
That's what I'm thinking too. Because not only just is the ship the same as in Metroid Prime 3, her suit is almost exactly the same too. There are some minor differences there. Like she actually looks more like a human and not an hourglass, if that makes sense. Yeah, they actually made her look more real. Her shoulder pads are not massive, although her shoulder width is still obscenely wide, but that's fine.
One thing I also noticed,
it's slightly less obscene now.
Yes.
Yeah. The armor on the, you see one dead in the corner. The design of the Galactic Troopers, the GF Troopers, is also Prime 3-esque. Like, it's a little different, a little more round, but
there's a scientist. You see
Prime.
A scientist or two as well in there a little bit, wearing the same thing they did in Prime 3.
Yeah, the space pirate ships also look the same. From
exact
like
same. Exact same.
Yeah.
we say exact, but there's, little differences here and there. But,
Yeah.
we're used to seeing so many, like, drastic changes between Metroid games. It's kind of rare to see, like, they're keeping things mostly the same here. It's almost like it's a continuation of Metroid Prime 3, which is weird, because it's a 4. Makes sense, right? But even still, it's just like, we're waiting 17 years for this. This game could have come out in 2010 if they wanted it to, but they didn't. So but the only thing that's really different is the space pirate designs. They've completely changed once again. I don't know how they keep changing, but that's okay. We don't need to think too hard about that. It's really
Science.
science and stuff. Yeah. So
That's true. Space pirate is not a species per
Right?
se.
It's a job description, right?
It's a job title, right? So it could be a different race of critters. We don't know.
every single time.
I mean, every Prime game has a different species. Like the pirates in Prime 2, different from Prime 1. Prime 3 has its own. So, I mean, they're just keeping up tradition of having these new little freaks for us to shoot.
That's right, new little freaks. I love it. And
Yep.
I think another thing I hear about the trailer, the complaints rather I keep hearing, is that this is so crazy. The game looks too similar to the previous Prime games, and I'm just like, yes, that's what I've wanted for 17 years. I do understand a point, though, is just like, we do want to see new stuff from this entry, of course. We want to see, like, maybe new gear, new powers and abilities, which I'm sure they're saving for later. They do this every game. There's always going to be new abilities. They're not going to just only reuse the same ones, although that HUD looks mighty different, which I'll go over.
It does.
Like, the missiles are on the D-pad. What's up with that? What's going on there? How do you open the scan visor?
A real controller? What? Yeah.
I know, it's crazy, right? it's wild. This is the first Metroid Prime game that's made with a normal controller from the get-go. Yeah, it's really
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Crazy thought.
I think the thing that really excites me about this trailer, though, was the final 20 seconds or 15 seconds. Which was probably what a lot of people wanted from a Metroid Prime trailer in the first place, because it is kind of bold of them after many people have said, hey, I like it when Metroid's isolated, but the game begins with a space pirate battle like in Prime 3, which I still think is bold. I'm still excited. I just think it's funny. But then we get what we assume to be the planet, if there is just one planet, which previous interviews with the producer have implied that that's going to be the case. There's only going to be one planet. Just a beautiful, gorgeous vista, and the music sounds better than the entirety of the Metroid Dread soundtrack.
Stop it. It was supposed to be dreadful, okay?
Funny guy, Ray.
Sorry. I'm a dad. I could do that legally.
Hey, so can I. So we're legally. Yes.
And I can't, but I'll still try.
Yeah, just that music. We don't know who's composing the soundtrack yet, but this sounds like the best way I can compliment this soundtrack, this song that plays at the end, is that it sounds like a canceled song from the Prime trilogy, one they didn't use. It sounds like a perfect evolution of that style. Got a mix of Phendrana drifts in there with a little bit of that digital orchestra like voices that we've heard in Prime 2 a lot of. And when I hear that song and when I look at that vista, I'm just like, I'm home. We're back. We're back. We're just so back. Any thoughts on that final shot?
Yeah, well,
think
musically musically, I noticed right away, which I think is their intent, is like, this sounds like Metroid Prime. And I'm assuming that it's either like the same exact sound fonts if it's MIDI, or it's the same developer of that sound font, and here's version 2 or whatever. It's clearly meant to be like the same thing, to invoke the feelings and the emotions of that Metroid Prime music brought, which is what a lot of us kind of wanted to hear. So they arguably fan service happening there musically, and visually too. It's whether it's Talon 4 again or something extremely similar. That's like what they were trying to touch on, at least what it seems like to me. And probably kind of what I get is, again, going back to that, it's just a teaser. It's not really like a proper trailer. I think they just wanted to show, this is a Metroid Prime game, because here's basically Frigate Orpheon, but in a different way. And then here's Talon 4 when you first land and you look around.
Yeah.
Obviously, the context, everything is very different, but it's in terms of what the player will think and feel, it's going to be like we're booting up Prime 1 for the first time a little bit.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like one of my fears was like this is not going to feel like a Metroid Prime game or what have you. And of course, like
Right.
and that's what I wanted, of course, again, for almost 20 years at this point is another Metroid Prime game. And they're already checking those boxes off with this trailer from what it looks like. The game visually is a stunner, like the Prime games. So much of a stunner, it's probably running on Switch too, guys. No, it's not. Like, we need to stop that. But
I feel like anyone saying that did not see how beautiful Prime 1 Remastered was.
I'm like, did y'all play it? Like, did y'all actually play that? Like, come
Yeah,
on,
seriously.
I was so surprised at how good that looked. Just
Yeah,
like running on a
like-
regular Switch.
Like, honestly, to be fair to those people, they probably genuinely didn't play Prime 1 Remastered
Yes,
because
fair.
it is, I would say it dips into the realm of actually unbelievable how good it looks running on a Switch. I would not have guessed that it would be, like, possible to do that. So, so that we know that, but most people might not.
previous Retro Studios developers have said in interviews that they are shocked at how like this one of them even said it is not possible. This should not be possible, but it is. So like the
Witchcraft.
fact that people are they're basically still doubting Retro Studios, saying this ain't running on Switch hard. This looks too good for Switch. I'm just kind of like, you don't understand like just the power of great optimization, which Digital Foundry said like looking at the trailer that it's still running at 900p, which is fine. Because like Metroid Prime Master ran at 900p and it still looks amazing, and as long as they hit that 60 frames per second, just fine by me. But you know, now that we're talking about Switch 2, let's there's still the debate, right? Not really I wouldn't say a debate. There's been a debate before this that this game was going to skip the Switch entirely, which I'm glad is dead in the water, because I was so tired of hearing that, because no way was that ever going to happen. It says in the trailer, the first thing you see when you pop up that trailer is the Switch logo. So there you go. But do we still think that this game could be a Breath of the Wild situation, where it comes out on Switch 1 and Switch 2 the same day, on the Switch 2's launch day? Trav, I want to start with you.
Okay. So my guess, just from what I've been hearing about the Switch 2 from totally, absolutely credible leaks, is that we'll be getting a sort of, how would you describe it? Kind of like a PS4 to PS5 kind of thing, where the hardware isn't changed very much, and old games can still be played on it, and will be updated to say like unlock the frame rate or raise the resolution. If that's true, I don't think that they'll even bother. They'll just be like, hey, if you want a game to try out that was, stuttering before, try out Prime 4. That's really where that thought ends, though, because, like, I can see them maybe repackaging it, like, oh, yeah, spend another $60 to upgrade to Switch 2 version, but I don't know, that doesn't feel like Nintendo's style, and that's gonna bite me in the ass. Sorry, let me redo that. That's gonna bite me in the butt in 2 weeks when they announce something.
When the game comes out unexpectedly.
Right.
Yes.
Talk about a shadow drop. But any
Shadow drop would be.
No, thank you. You need to give me time to prepare for this.
Yeah.
I gotta call off work, dude.
Yeah. Ray, what are your thoughts? What do you think?
I mean, I kind of feel like to better like prepare their fan bases, like I feel like it has to be cross generational. Like it would be kind of rude of Nintendo to be like, hey man, sucks to suck. I know that y'all all bought like 3 Switches for yourself, but you gotta have a Switch 2 just to play this one. So I mean, with them having done it already with Zelda, that's why I have a lot more faith in them like actually doing that, because I mean they've done it and it worked then too. So I'm like, well, why not? It would make sense, because then more people can play the game. I feel that's what they want, right? The more people playing it, the better. Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Doughboy?
Yeah, I think, in regards to sales, they will make way more money if they also make it for Switch, which we, is
I'm thinking there's no debate this game's coming out on Switch, right? But like, are they really gonna wait though until the Switch 2 comes out to release the game on both platforms? That's what I'm really curious about more than anything.
So I think I don't know. It's tough to break into my own mind and determine, is this just what I want, or is this what is best in terms of sales? Because I'm sure everyone in this call and a lot of other people would be very frustrated if they release the game. I'm going to make up some dates. Let's say it's all right, it's coming out summer of 2025 on Switch. And then Switch 2 releases in November of 2025, and you can play the, sort of like the graphically boosted version of Metroid Prime 4 then. I don't want to do that. I want to play the good version the first time. Mm-hmm. So I frankly, I hope they delay it as much as they need to. I do 7 more years, whatever. I don't care anymore. Delay it as much as you need to release it along with the Switch 2, even if it's not, I don't know, like it doesn't have to be launch title per se, but I would want to play it on Switch 2 over Switch 1, and I would be kind of bummed if I felt like I had to play it on Switch 1 first, because I do want to play it when it comes out. If I have to wait a day for some reason, I guess I could tolerate that, but I don't want to wait months and months or a year. I want to play it on the Switch 2. And a lot of people might not care. For them, it's like, I don't know, it's a Metroid game, I'll try it. They might be completely fine playing it on their Switch 1. But I'm a hardcore fan, and I want to play it on Switch 2. It's also obviously going to look beautiful on Switch 2. I want the best possible experience. And I do think Nintendo is aware of that type of fan. And I think also, in terms of games' graphical quality, Metroid is the highest in regards to Nintendo franchise games. So I think this is the type of game that they do want to prioritize graphics a little bit more, even over Zelda. So we'll see, but I hope that they do make that call to release it along with Switch 2, and I think like 60% chance, maybe 70% chance, I think that they will.
Here's why I don't want that to happen. Here's why this game needs to come out on Switch first, and then you can release a Switch 2 version later. I don't care. Here's why.
I hate what you're saying, but I'm willing to listen.
Because I don't want to stress out about trying to get a Switch 2 at launch just to play the better version of the game that I want to play. Like, that's just already adds a whole new level of stress for me and a bunch of other people who want to play the best version of this game, like, day one, right? And I feel like that's something maybe Nintendo also knows about, or they don't care. As long as they sell Switch 2s, they don't care. But, like, for me, it's just like, this game was being made for, like, 5.5 years, tailor-made for Switch 1, and I just don't see how it could look better on Switch 2 with as more than just higher resolution, and that's it. It's not like they're gonna go in and just graphically change like the textures or what have you. I really don't think that's the case here. It's just gonna look like the same game but higher resolution. That might just be enough for some people, right? Part of this is cope, because I want to play this game sooner than later. But also, another part of this is just, I feel like I don't know, I feel like if Nintendo was saving this for like a big Switch 2 launch title, they wouldn't have shown it in this Direct. I feel like they would have saved that for a Switch 2 presentation or what have you. So, I don't know. I could see either scenario.
Tough to say.
Yeah, I could see either scenario happening, of course, because it has worked for Zelda. But again, Zelda sells consoles, unlike Metroid, which maybe that could change.
It will change.
Don't look at me with those eyes. But there's just, I know a lot of people jump on this cross-gen like thing right away, but there's just, I haven't heard anything about Nintendo planning a Switch 2 version of this game. Like, there hasn't been any rumors about this, so I don't know. It just feels like something because people say because Zelda did it, Metroid could do it too. I think just things are more complicated than that in this scenario.
I mean, you brought up a good point. It's like they've been developing it for the Switch. I mean, or they could have been. In my mind, the best version of that game is going to be whatever you're playing it on for Nintendo. Like I don't feel like they would ever be like, oh, well, we're gonna build just a slightly better version for this one over here, than not this one over. I've never Nintendo has like kind of gatekept some stuff behind like features, but not the games, right? And so I'm like, I just feel like it's like they're like, hey, you can play the game with this device, or you can play with that device. It's gonna be the same game. Congratulations. So I mean that to me is the likely scenario, because I feel like they don't want to alienate any other audience when it comes to an already very niche fan base. So.
Yeah, that's true. But,
That's fair. My perspective, Joey, is that, like you said, they've been developing it for a while. To me, that lined up with, I think there's a strong chance they're taking so long to show more of it because they want to wait to put it on Switch 2 also. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if it's necessarily relevant, but we had the tweet from a few months ago that there's a second Switch coming. Mm-hmm. And then Metroid Prime 4 is shown. So Fair. It might be that, yes, it is coming to Switch, and as we'll find out in 6 to 12 months, hey, also it's coming to Switch too.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
I think that's like where I'm thinking it's gonna go. But there's obviously there's so many different directions that this can go, and they're gonna ultimately do what's gonna make them the most money. So some marketing guy's gonna figure that out, not us.
As long as I get the game, I don't care about nothing else.
That's where I'm at.
All I know is if it is cross-gen, it launches cross-gen on Switch 2, and I don't get the Switch 2 because of like stock issues, I will never forgive Nintendo. So, yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. But before we close out this conversation, I have one more thing to ask. Prime 2 and 3 on Switch when? Is it going to happen still? At all? Anyone? Bueller, tell me.
I hope so. I think if they are going to announce it, it's going to be, like Doughboy was mentioning, probably some kind of dedicated direct for Prime 4. They might just be like, and by the way, play Metroid Prime 2 and 3 today.
Yeah, because it's not coming out till the end of 2025.
So, we're sorry for delaying the game again.
Yes. Literally, I feel like that is probably best case scenario, honestly. It's like, hey, all right, y'all got really excited for 4, so here's 2 and 3 to get ready because you got a few months to wait.
I don't know. Yeah. I feel like they could release 2 and 3.
Do you think they're going to re-release Hunters?
Never.
Sylux?
I really don't think.
No.
I feel like it goes to like the Nintendo membership. I feel like it goes somewhere there, maybe.
Yeah. For the Switch 2, DS Online.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
You laugh, but
I think a lot of people forget that Hunters is a bad game. So.
It's not great.
The story
you had to be there.
The story mode was.
Both were bad. I mean, I don't know. Multiplayer, I didn't get to play much. So you're right about the multiplayer. I'll give you that because everyone loves
fun.
Yeah,
that is my favorite PvP game of all time.
I could never get my DS connected to the internet to play.
Oh no!
So I missed out.
There were a lot of weird like Wi-Fi issues with the DS in that era. That makes sense.
Tragic. Yeah. 2006 was an ungodly time. Ungodly, but yeah, I think we could see Prime 2 and 3 on Switch still, but you know the rumors about the first one being the only one that's gotten the big boy remaster treatment. I think that reigns true, and these are not going to be like significant upgrades. They'll still be upgrades. I hope a little more than what we got with Pikmin 1 and 2, which were literally just upscaled GameCube ports.
Which
I'd still be fine with that.
I will also take that because I'm desperate.
I will take it too. I'm just saying. I just think anyone who's expecting Prime 2 and 3 like remastered are setting themselves up for disappointment with this. So.
Just give me modern controls. That's all I ask of you.
And that's another reason why we didn't see these games yet, because it's like we know Prime 4 is coming. We know what it looks like now. So it's just like it's a way to like ease the pain of like not having like a remastered version of 2 and 3, but that's just my opinion. But thank you all so much for joining me on this discussion, everybody. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond is real, and it's coming next year, pending any more delays. I feel like they've been working on it so long to where it's just like they didn't announce it until it's almost ready. I feel like not to say it'll be not to say it'll be released in like the next 6 months, but you know, like I feel like it's very close to being ready. So thank you all so much for joining me, and let me know in the comments, everybody, what are your thoughts on Metroid Prime 4 Beyond? Are you hyped? Give me a scale of 1 to 10, and we'll see you all next time. Bye bye. And stop.